So that's how I found out firsthand that you can fuck a rattlesnake if you hold its head still.
And we're live. Hello, all. I'm Scooby331. Welcome to the Chaos 120 Friday the 13th stream. It is 10/13/2017, and we're here with the Chaos 120 crew. If you folks want to introduce yourselves, because I'll do a horrible job of it.
Who wants to go first?
I guess we'll go ladies first.
Well, then who's a lady? So, Sweeper?
Yeah, I'll go first. I'll go first. I'm Sweeper Steve. Like I said, you can find me on Twitter and mostly just fucking around on other live streams.
Okay, Pox.
Hey, what's up? I'm Pox Toxic. You guys probably, if you're watching this right now, you've probably seen me on one of the other streams. Just kind of run my mouth. That's about it.
Sylvanas.
Yeah, I'm Sylvanas. That's all you're getting today. I don't feel good.
And I am the One-Ton Hammer. Hey, guys.
Hey.
What's up?
I lost my Twitter window.
So, what's Burnside up to? Where's he at tonight? And I'm playing in the next 6 minutes. Where is everybody?
6 is probably growing tea. I just text Burnside. I'm half tempted to call Burnside because I haven't heard from him on either Discord or texting, and I have no idea what's going on with Plane. Ajax ain't even on Discord, so I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, I sent out little invites myself too, so.
We're supposed to start at 11, but we usually end up starting around 11:30 because the monkey stream goes to 11. So if you start right at 11, you miss part of the stream. That's why I was
very
late.
Cool. See, I didn't even know that.
I wasn't really paying attention to monkey stream. I was more or less paying attention to my AMV. But we're not telling Turbo that.
I'm a devout follower of the monkey stream, so I watch every night.
I love Monkey Man. I remember when he first got started. Usually they stream at the worst time because there's so many other people that hit about the same time frame.
You have to understand that Monkey started all this first. Before everyone else started streaming, he already had the stream going. So it's not really him that's making the mistake. It's everybody else trying to cash in at the time period.
Yeah, it's true.
Claire White also was streaming at that time, at the same time Monkey started. Just she wasn't as consistent as she is now.
Well, it's not just that community either, man. I mean, there's people, freaking hundreds of thousands of people streaming at about the same time every day. Probably millions. Because you got the gamers, and then you've got the people that want to do radio talk show and the podcasts, and then people that just run their mouths. And then you got the idiot juggalos. They're always live streaming. Just search for a juggalo live stream. You'll find somebody drunk with clown makeup on. It's great.
Easy on the juggalos.
Yeah.
Hey, juggalo love, man. I still have the shittiest tattoo I have is a hatchet, man. I can't get it fixed. Pick the bucket.
Prime
What's
times.
up?
I think we're doing it wrong.
What's that?
You guys are doing it?
Oh, I think we need to do a juggalo one. Maybe that'll get us views.
Maybe. I'll throw on some face paint.
You could throw on anything. I'm pretty sure you would wear a dress.
Plead the fifth.
I always like juggalettes myself.
Yeah, same here. They're crazy.
Yeah. I just got a thing for sloppy chicks with dreadlocks. I'm not even saying that as a swipe, really. That is the
Crazy
thing.
in the head, crazy in the bed.
It was interesting seeing them down at DC last month. That was a really surreal experience. If you would have told me that at one point in my life I was going to watch Insane Clown Posse perform live at the foot of the Lincoln Memorial, I don't think I'd believe you.
Same here.
Yeah, that was an interesting foray. I'll say that much.
So what's on the menu for tonight? Are we going to do news or?
Yeah, I said I was very much paid by a bunch of kitty pictures not to do a certain article
Okay.
by multiple people.
Okay.
The same article that SDA got paid $50 to make Scribble shut up.
Oh yeah. That was
I
pretty
actually
amazing.
was wanting to do that for our deep topic, but I got paid by a bunch of kitty pictures. So that's not happening. We have, where is the first one I wanted to do is, come on, open. Restaurant for cooks. Thank you
Yeah,
for finally
Burnside.
joining us, Burnside.
Hi, Burnside.
Hey,
Restaurant
sorry for
burger
making you guys
cooks
wait there.
mill
I had a
like
couple
a
things to do at
pro.
work.
Your
Someone's
excuses are lazy.
someone's face is too close to their mic. I can hear you breathing. Sounds creepy.
sorry.
Of course, it's Friday the 13th, so
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, oh, dude, I got a better one for you. I just got done talking to one of my coworkers about the alleged rumors of POW ghosts, and one of the outdoor security guys said, "Yeah, I better hope you don't run into the SS." And I said, "Well, if I run into them, I can at least understand a couple words they're saying."
Hey, Scooby. Right on the side, there's this like control room thing. Can you click it and turn Burnside up?
yeah, sure.
Is my volume too high or too low? What's up with that?
It's quiet, but if I always turn you up, and it makes things a lot easier. And it's not uncommon for you.
somebody's got a rogue doggy.
I'm gonna get Scooby. Anyways, restaurant burglar cooks mill like a pro cleans up. Security cameras were rolling. Oh, this is right up Scooby's alley. Security cameras were rolling at New York State restaurant when a burglar took the time out of his crime to prepare a meal and eat it and then clean up after himself. All right, Will Collin managed at Nellie's something in Hanksville on Long Island said the burglar broke in about 2 a.m. Tuesday, and the security cameras recorded him donning gloves and cooking food like an old hand. He was
What was the name of the place?
I am not even going to even say the damn place because that name's obnoxious, so I'll put it inside chat.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm not brutally killing names.
Oh, okay, I've been there.
So is my audio better now?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
He has worked the pot like a pro. He was setting the floor, shaking it around, making sure it was heated evenly, distributed evenly, the manager told the TV producers. He was cooking up a storm, Collin told Newsday. He heated up some beans. I'm echoing from you, Burnside, now.
Is it Burnside?
Yeah.
Ah, crap. Do I gotta like exit out and come back in or something?
Usually the problem with echoes, I think I mentioned this the other night. The problem with echoes is if you're listening to Google's Hangouts chat, like when we're talking to each other, and you're listening to it through a speaker. What happens is he says something, it comes out of your speaker, then goes into your mic, and then goes back out on the stream again.
Uh-huh.
Like a hamster wheel.
So make sure you guys are using headphones.
I can't really use headphones at work, but normally when I'm at work, I don't have this problem.
Turn down your speaker a little bit, maybe. Or move the microphone a little bit further away from the speaker, if you can do that.
All right. Well, here's where I normally stick the thing. I mean, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Just like a Sprint commercial. I can hear you now. Put two fingers up. Can you hear me now?
You know what's the problem with the Sprint commercials? You never hear what the person says on the other side.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Hey, Six is here.
Hello.
What's up, Six?
You didn't think
Hey,
I'd
Six.
miss Scooby's first live stream? Well,
Is this first or second? Because
This
I
would
got,
technically be a second.
I
His
think
Yeah.
the
first
first one was
last
a
night.
test, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
it was a
it was.
test stream last night.
first non-test stream.
I don't think you guys did it right. The test stream, you're supposed to be drunk, right?
Yeah.
I don't drink.
The
I haven't
test
drank in
screen,
years.
A whole bunch of technical difficulties, man. The toilet took a dump. The Xbox took a dump. Everything but
Got gremlins, buddy.
do you ever have any problems with your computer or with the stream?
Wow.
Make sure you talk to me because I am technical support.
Amber's our IT guy.
Hey, remember, I used to hack. I take offense to that. Anyways, he cooked up a storm. He heated up some beans. He sauced some chicken, some shrimp. The way he handled that pan, man, that dude had some skills. The burglar used a hammer to break open the cash register and only took about $100, except for the $1 bills that he left in the tip jar. Colin said the man went and washed all the cooking supplies he used, wiped down the cleaning surface, and even cleaned crumbs off the floor before leaving. Colin said he reviewed the security camera footage and discovered the same burglar has broken in early Monday and took some food without bothering cooking it first. And that's where it ends.
Sounds like somebody's just hungry.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, this actually
He's not a
happens
complete
all the
ass.
time.
He left the tips for the employees.
I mean, it sounds like a pretty
He cleaned
simple
up after himself.
I mean, he came in, he cooked, he cleaned up, and he left tips. You know, not too bad, man. I mean, I wish all thieves were like that, dude.
Yeah.
This is actually like a common theme out here. Like we actually have this, especially like you'll have it happening like once the weather starts to turn a certain way. They found homeless guys in the bakery that like started making muffins and shit. What it is that a lot of them they have prior experience, so they broke in to get warm, and just decided to hell with it. They're there already, so they started cooking. It's happened a lot. It's actually funny that that guy I was talking about, the one that went on the high-speed chase with the cops, when he had gotten released, we were out at the bar drinking. He got really drunk and he left the bar and he wound up breaking into the bakery and he wound up sleeping in the fresh bread. And that's where they found him.
Wow.
Well, it didn't stay fresh for long.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that one came from Cryptic, so let's see what else we have. Here we go. This was another one that comes from Cryptic. Deputies, women found naked entering her home eating a pineapple. Oh my god, this lady's not that good looking.
That's great.
Well, why is it never an attractive woman eating a pineapple walking into my house? Why is it always some fugly woman?
Wait.
I mean-
So this deputy she was like on a call. She like showed up at somebody's answering the call, like balls naked eating a pineapple.
Woman find naked intruder in her home eating pineapple.
Oh,
I don't know.
Okay.
This
I
is
thought
a
the
Florida
way you-
story.
Oh, okay. The way you read it. At first I thought it was like the deputy showed up at the house naked eating a pineapple. That's why I was like, wait, what police department is this?
No.
I think that they need to relook at their municipalities over there.
A St. Augustine woman came home to find a naked intruder in her home eating her canned pineapples, deputy said Tuesday. Deputy said that when they arrived at the house on Thompson Bailey Road, the suspect, Mary Hampton, told them the door was open for me to come inside, according to a report from the St. Johns County
Thank you
Sheriff
for the
House.
coffee, sexy wife. Sorry, guys.
What the fuck?
Hampton, 63, now faces charges of burglary theft following the incident last Wednesday afternoon. The homeowner opened the intruder, went outside, locked herself in her car while she called the authorities. Deputies also determined that Hampton entered through the homeowner's front door, took a T-shirt belonging to the victim's son, and leftover food from the fridge before opening a can of pineapples. It doesn't appear the homeowner and the Hamptons knew one another. However, deputies learned the Hampton lives about a half a mile away from the victim. Hampton
Somebody
is
was
now in
off on
jail.
meds.
Yeah, I'd say.
Wow.
I'm going to throw that one into chat. Please. There you go.
Oh yeah,
chat.
speaking of the chat, I threw down some links if anybody wants to check them out for some news stories that I came across earlier. It's a lot
Are
of
they
planning
in?
and wars, but some of it's actually pretty interesting.
Did you throw
Yeah,
them
in
into
chat.
Chaos News? Oh,
The link I gave you?
Into the group chat for the hangout.
I'm going through Chaos News currently.
Hey, Pops, did you get the links I sent you?
Fuck, which ones?
The news ones. They're in your Discord DM.
This one comes from. I don't know if I really should read this. This one comes from around 6 minutes. Isn't that kind of biased?
I don't know. I just threw it in there for the hell of it.
Sex offender discovered in homemade police uniform when he's pulled over by a real officer.
What the hell?
That's funny. That's funny.
Deputies
God.
in Ohio were punished during a recent traffic stop. They discovered a man in the car was dressed as an officer of the law. The Weld County Sheriff Office said the driver, Eric, I'm not reading that last name, 35, not reading that, was wearing a homemade police uniform and carrying handcuffs and pepper spray when he and his companion of 20 years old, Caleb Bernhardt, was pulled over recently. When police checked their criminal histories, they said both men were found to be registered sex offenders. That doesn't really mean anything. You could pee on a sidewalk and be called a sex offender.
I don't know. Maybe they're trying to make a sex offense on each other. I mean,
I want to know: is there a picture of the police uniform? Does it look believable, or is it some god awful homemade nightmare?
Does it look?
I'm
like
picturing them dressed like English bobbies with the helmets.
There you go.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
Anytime you pull someone over and they are wearing a badge and have the word police across the front, that's going to cause additional questions on the behalf of any officer conducting that stop. Wayne County Sheriff's Office Captain Doug Hunter told reporters. After not reading that, allegedly admitted he's been fired from his security guard job. Police say, weird name, told him separately that the men were on their way to confronting a female rape case victim. Oh my god.
Wait, what the fuck?
They tried to lie to the cops to keep their oh my god. Hey, did you know there's this number they call? It's called dispatch, and they give the number and ask if it's an actual number to any jurisdiction, and they go, no.
Wow.
That's basically where that one ends.
Oh,
so, Six, where did you find that cancer?
I was, well, I'm a bit ashamed because I don't really like going to that website anyway, but I found it on Yahoo.
Okay. So what? That was in the Yahoo Classifieds. Sex offenders go to Sodomy Fest and get pulled over in the process.
It was under some Ben Affleck story that I was
That's plenty.
scrolling past.
This is from the Jack Cochran, and we all know what ends up coming from Jack Cochran. This author is under attack for making Santa black and gay.
What the fuck?
I think my hearing is going. I could have sworn you just said he made a black gay Santa.
Yep.
All right.
What the
I'll
Protestant
entertain
fucking
this.
hell? What is it with these commie-loving sons of bitches and their stupid-ass agendas? For fuck's sake, can they leave Christmas the hell alone? I'd like to have one holiday where I can go downtown and enjoy it, and not have to deal with a bunch of atheist assholes or a bunch of Northside sodomites trying to...
Nah, you're culture appropriating in Halloween.
Fuck that shit. Halloween.
God damn it.
Do we want to keep going? I say this too early for this kind of stuff, but oh god, it's long. Never mind. This turned into deep topic.
I'm probably gonna flip out on this one because
When do you not flip out?
when somebody's dead, then I go, oh, okay, it's just another dead guy, you know.
3 officers down today.
Yeah, that was terrible. I couldn't believe even like the 2 of them got killed while they were trying to stop this bastard from making a prison break. I mean,
And
good
I
lord.
thought you said that you don't flip out when people were dead.
It's a prison break. You know how bad that could have gotten, man? I mean, shoot. I mean,
Hey,
I thought the
Sweeper.
North was dead with the
What up?
sodomy. I mean, you get a bunch
He
of
didn't
inmates.
catch it, did he?
Yeah, no.
Point case made.
Yeah, loose inmates who are prone to sodomy is a bad thing because there's this thing called shanking rape. We got that at 26 in California. It's
Nope.
It takes quite a few inmates every day or every month, depends, you know, on however the mood swings in there. So yeah, that out in the open, very bad idea.
Man robs gas station with cattle fraud.
Oh God.
So that one's you guys want to read that?
Yeah, sure.
Oh my
This
god.
comes from Colleen Bernier. Fort Pierce man robs a gas station with a cattle fraud, police say, and you're going to play a freaking video in my ear, aren't you? Yes, you are. Shush.
Good lord.
Fort Pierce police released the security video after arresting Middleton Harrison, 21, on Wednesday, October 12th, 2017. The charging him with robbery with a weapon and aggressive battery. Fort Pierce police detectives arrested Fort Pierce man Thursday after he used a cattle prod to rob a gas station, according to the arrest affidavit. Middleton Harrison, 21, of the 3800 block of Edwards Road, was arrested at about noon after Fort Pierce police detectives and canine and helicopter from... Wow, they must have really wanted him. From
All
this...
that to do with a cattle prod. I mean, you'd think the dogs would have done it. What, were they going to pull a Pepe on him and just stuff him into the helicopter and throw him out of it for being so stupid? It seriously makes you wonder. I mean, you're lucky if you can get a helicopter over here whenever gunshots start flying, man. And the reason I get one over in my neighborhood is because they got a heliport, you know, right over in the next neighborhood while the crack babies are shooting each other while they're riding coyotes into battle.
From St. Louis County Sheriff's Office were deployed to search for the man. Police spokesman Edward Cunningham said he was charged with a robbery with a weapon and aggressive battery, according to the report. The clerk of Conoco gas station on the 4100 block of, seriously, not reading that road's name, said Henderson was hanging around the gas station before the robbery. He walked in and out of the store multiple times, making small talk with the clerk. According to the report, Henderson re-entered the store with a white tee wrapped around his hand and a taser-like weapon. Police later identified the weapon as a cattle prod, according to the report. That's a good sized cattle prod, but yep, that's basically the whole report. There's like another paragraph, but it's basically summarizing what I just read.
Wow, the stupid is real.
Yeah, apparently.
Real.
Yeah, apparently.
Man accused of watching porn insists in exposure in the FGCU library. Man watches porn in library. Okay. Moving on.
That's what they call sexual education.
Oh, fucking hell.
You've been fooled by one big lie about Heinz tomato ketchup. I don't know if I want to read this. Oh, it's a mirror. No. They don't know how to write.
Is this another episode of Regina English?
It's done by the Mirror. What do you think?
I never heard of them.
That's the one I keep yelling at.
Oh, okay. So then, yeah, it's Regina English.
Former firefighter reads letter to 3-year-old child pornography victim.
What?
Former firefighter reads a letter to his 3-year-old. Oh my God, stop with the freaking videos. Former firefighter reads a letter to his 3-year-old child pornography victim during sentence.
What? Okay, I'm lost for words. Okay, so he rescued his son from some type of
No. This is his victim. He was a firefighter who was a pedo.
Oh, so he was getting
reads to his victim.
Right, he was getting sentenced, so he read this letter to his victim when they were sentencing him.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, I got you now.
What the? I'm gonna think on that while I go and do my D-Tex round real quick. Just what the fuck? I'll be back. Oh my God.
Danny Ray Murphy was emotional as he read a letter to his victim in the minutes before he was sentenced to 40 years in federal prison Friday. The 3-year-old boy, whose name Murphy still does not know, was repeatedly raped, and both images in the video of the abuse was sent to Murphy. The jury who convicted Murphy heard during the trial that he had been messaging back and forth with the child's abuser on social media for months, asking for more images and videos.
What a piece of shit.
You know, he was sentenced to 40 years, but I don't think he's going to make it 40 days in lockup.
Oh, hell no.
I'm betting money he's in seg. I'm betting money he's in segregation. He planned with the abuser to meet to sexually assault the child together, and at one point suggested using the Santa Rosa County Fire Station where Murphy worked at because it had a soundproof room. Where's my bucket?
Okay, what the hell have I been hearing while I'm trying to get my crap together? What the fuck? The check-in system was fucking quicker. What the fuck?
Yeah, this guy's going to be found laying dead in a cafeteria with a.
Right within the next 40 days, once he gets incarcerated, man. The same with the other son of a bitch that tried to go and sell this poor kid over social media. What the fuck is with people?
Burnside, shush.
It's
I want you to mute yourself for what I'm about to read. I'm not joking. I know what you're going to end up doing. So please mute yourself. I'm not joking.
Good, huh?
Mute, like you want me to really hit the mute button?
Yes, because I know what's going to happen.
All right, let me try and find this on the damn. Oh, there it is.
In his letter, he said, "Not only are you a victim, you are a survivor, and I hope you never know what it is you just survived," Murphy read it during his sentencing.
Well, I would say that I don't know what I would say. That's
Okay, Burnside, you can unmute yourself now.
Okay. Seriously. All right, now we have that disclaimer up, right? So I say something outrageous.
I don't know. Let me see if no, he did not.
my
copy
brain
wrote it.
can't fully process what I just listened to.
I'm getting tons of 404 syntax errors and other really computer codes just going, what the flying fuck?
Burnside, you understand why I asked you to mute yourself now, don't you?
Yeah, that's just... Normally, I'd be completely pissed off, but I don't even know what the hell to think with that. That's just so many shades of what the fuck is wrong with you that...
Okay, this gets worse.
Don't get
God.
it. I got to do these D-Tex rounds real quick, and that son of a bitch needs some good old-fashioned 26 in California shank and rape. Like,
Yeah.
The chat
Yeah.
started in late 2016 when Murphy responded to a Craigslist ad about these sexual fantasies. The conversations turned to sexual assault on a young boy and continued for months until Murphy arrested. Undercover investigation arrests another man in connections to this crime, Charles McComb, and took over his online identity to track down Murphy. Murphy asked for leniency.
So it's going to be 2 dead guys in prison.
Murphy asked for leniency on the fact he was a first responder. I'm done.
Sorry, but you forfeit
No,
all
no.
your.
Scooby, I love you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What I'm about to say, please do not blow up. And that goes for you too,
Okay.
Cryptic. He wants leniency because he was a first responder and a former Marine.
Mm.
And a man without a criminal history. Murphy liked himself to a computer program that ran efficiency during a whole life but temporary malfunctions. I don't know if I can read this anymore. It's getting worse. It just keeps getting worse.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
What the hell? Colleen Bernier, how the hell did you find this? Where the hell did you go to the darkest part of the web? Did this come from 4chan?
This story was found just above the ass crack of the internet.
So just before you hit 4chan?
It sounds like he went to the dark web. Let's find that one.
Yeah, normally I'd have something.
No, I can't finish this one. I'm sorry, guys. I just.
Might be a good idea to pre-read some of these before the show starts, because this kind of stuff you really don't want to broadcast.
I do the exact same thing Scribble says. He doesn't read any of the MSS news
Yeah.
before he does. I'm doing the exact same thing.
I know.
Yeah, normally I'd have some intelligent retort, but so many of my circuits are I can't even think of the word. It's what happens when you have to change a fuse right before you have to change a fuse. The reason that you have to change a fuse. What's that called? Short circuit.
Here you go. This one comes from Cryptic. Man arrested for robbing bank after Googling how to rob a bank.
Nice.
Florida man.
Wow.
Of course
Of
it
course.
is.
Oh, Florida man to the rescue! Rescue us from this pallid melancholy of what the fuck.
Florida man William Joe Johnson, who is just 26 years old. When the Tampa Bay Times reported that Johnson was arrested, I'm not reading your damn city's name, after stealing an undisclosed amount of money from a credit union last Thursday, and when, in quotes, when using the money on utilities, rent, and a drug binge, end quotes. Johnson entered the bank and held the teller at gunpoint before running off with the cash. And here's where it gets interesting. Yep. That
Did he
was
ask for $350?
after an investigation. The deputies found him at a hotel. In an interview, detectives said Johnson told them he was in need of money and searched on Google how to rob a bank. Surprisingly, there isn't a WikiHow article on bank robbing, but there are some YouTube instructional videos.
This reminds me of that scene in Office Space when they're researching money laundering. So they actually go to the dictionary to look up the definition of money laundering.
Wow, what the hell did I walk into? I mean, it sounds a whole lot better than the previous topic, but that sounds just as stupid.
Guy Googles how to rob a bank and gets caught because he Googles how to rob a bank.
It's a Florida man story.
I was just going to ask that.
It was Florida man to the rescue.
Sounds like another Florida man's going to get another one of those 26 and Cal specials of shanking rate.
We're now out of chaos news, so shockingly.
Yeah, it's a Florida man can be dependent on just fly in when things are making too much damn sense. Florida man flies in, corrects that.
Yep, Cryptic was the one that saved us for the last one from Colleen Berger's article that she sent us that I didn't finish.
Oh, that soul sucking.
Yeah.
Thing.
Are you sucking souls? What's going on? Sorry about that. I had a kid emergency.
Oh,
So-
good.
Anyone else have any articles they want to talk about or anything interesting?
Let me see. I think I had one.
To Pox and Scooby. I'll go unless anyone else has anything.
You can do your count if you want.
Oh, yeah, I get to do the body count? All right, sweet. Okay, let me check that. I wasn't sure if we're going to be able to do that or not.
Yeah, we've kind of been having a lot of chaos news lately.
All right, well, in that case, let me go and actually get the body count for today. And then I'll go to the new stuff. If you want Pox Scooby, you can copy-paste the links I sent to you to them, or to Sylvanus and whomever's. I sent it to you guys in Discord. But let's see here. What is the count for today? Oh, it only jumped up about 10 people since I last checked. That's not too much. Total homicides is actually pretty high, though. We've got the total shot and killed 520 for Friday the 13th. But overall total homicides is one dead body shy of 560. So we're looking at 559 dead total. And then let's see here. We got the shot count's about the same as it was. It fluctuated a little bit. Every 2 hours and 17 minutes, somebody's shot. Every 12 hours and 18 minutes, somebody's dead. Let's see here. It's the same with the usual suspects on the map. It's all in the fucking ghettos. There's Ah, crap. Looks like there was a few over by my old neighborhood. Son of a... Oh, there was one. Hey, they got me on the map for once.
I don't know if that's a good thing to be proud of.
Yeah, man. Chicago was a fucking war zone.
One homicide in Hegwish. Hooray, I'm on the map. My old neighborhood's on the map for once. Oh, Jesus. It's probably the damn Latin dragons and the fucking Satan's disciples shooting each other. Motherfuckers. All right.
Yeah, speaking of Satan's disciples, I have an article.
All right. Do we want do you want me to go through the butt shots and all that stuff, or we just want to?
Poor mainstream.
Tell us about butt shots.
All right. It jumped up a little bit. I think it was we were at 150 last time. We got 152 butt shots.
So is that two separate incidents of butt shots, or did one person manage to get both cheeks?
Let's see here. It's one right in the solid left, and the other one, I guess, just got grazed across both ass cheeks.
Well, you don't want to.
That person's not going to be setting for a while.
Don't tell Ranting Monkey about this.
Oh Lord. Okay.
So both left cheek and right cheek have been killed in Chicago.
I think our nut shots leaked up a little bit. We've got 49. I think it was, 45 or 43 last time, I think?
Mm-hmm.
So we're one shy of 50 nut shots. Maybe within the next couple hours, somebody else will get to shoot somebody in the dick. We're just a little bit shy of even numbers here. Just a little bit shy. Need a few more butt shots, a few more nut shots, one more dead body altogether. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I think that's about it.
Oh, you know what I could do?
Oh, crap.
Where's the root when you need the root?
I have a quick article to read.
Okay.
Let's see. Fearless flyers will laugh in the face of superstition today when they board the last ever flight 666 to hell on Friday the 13th, traveling on the unluckiest day of the year. Could save you some pounds, but a journey straight to hell, that's HEL, on the 13th hour of the superstitious date is one flight most would probably like to avoid. Nordic airline Finnair has flown brave passengers from Copenhagen, Denmark to Helsinki, Finland on Friday the 13th since 2006. However, today will be the last time Flight 666 flies to hell, as the airline has decided to retire the flight number.
That sucks.
Okay. I didn't really think that there would be that much of a rush for people to fly to Helsinki.
I mean, before they retire it, they got to let Marilyn Manson ride it around the Mars.
Those guys don't really love Satan.
Yeah.
No, they don't believe in Satan, but it'd be a comical good cliche for advertising.
See, the thing is if they actually got on the plane, then it would fucking go down and everybody on board would die. That's how it works when you're a rock star.
Yeah.
You don't pull crazy shit like that on any kind of aircraft.
Yeah, that probably would be the shitty luck. Is Gwar would get on there, Ozzy would be on there, and then Marilyn Manson would get on last minute, and then they'd all wind up partying, drinking, and then some crazy shit would happen. And by an act of God, there'd be like a thunderstorm or something. It'd go just nope, and then next they'd all like crash and burn or something, and only Marilyn Manson would survive, and then just later freeze to death due to
oh my God,
where the fuck they landed.
Marilyn Manson. Oh. Of course, he would be the one that made it out, man.
I know, right?
What surprised me?
I go to Root to find SR Deep Topic, and I find it's the article that Scribbles already did that I ran away from. No, we're not doing Black Spider-Man thing. No. Seriously, the headline of that article is "I've been raped by nicer people than you." That's the headline. No.
Yes. That is an amazing headline. Who posted that?
That's the Root.
Ah.
Wow, that's all I can say. What did you say now? That was something about the Black Spider-Man?
That's the article. He starts talking about having these feelings about when he's going to be raped and stuff like that. It's stupid. Nuclear meltdown. Trump takes aim at Iran deal. What the hell did you just send me, Burnside?
Go.
Nice.
I think of the stuff I was trying to send the other guys.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw a little bit of that earlier.
Worse.
Everybody's all pissed off about it. The Republicans, the Dems. It's great.
President Donald Trump sharply criticized Iran and international agreement aimed at curbing its nuclear program Friday, refusing to certify Tehran's competence and warning the United States could pull out any time. These are some key points from his remark. And then it just goes over, it straw mans over what he said. It's straight up straw mans. Oh, wait. Oh, fuck. I figured. Never mind. It's an SJW. Freaking. Why did you go to an SJW news site?
I went to Drudge. I didn't think it was that SJW, but I thought it would be entertaining to read anyways, just to poke fun and laugh at it and go,
That's what the Root's for.
I thought it was hysterical because I'm like, okay, we're worried about Iran now? Jesus Christ. Can we get any dumber? I mean,
No. It's the whole do not pay attention to the curtain. The curtain is Iran currently. Behind the curtain's probably still North Korea.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking, because I know, because I thought it was funny. It's like, oh, they finally got around to that Obama deal, and they're all bitching about it and stuff. And it's like, okay, we're distracting everyone with Iran now when we've got bigger shit to deal with. This is funny. I just thought it'd be something nice to laugh at,
Yeah, we've been worried about Iran for how long now? When they start setting shit off and testing shit that causes earthquakes like North Korea is doing, we'll get worried. Whatever fucking the Middle East just sees an amazing fucking flash of light in the middle of the night and it comes from the direction of Iran, then I'll get worried.
That's exactly my point, Pox. That's the whole point of what I was trying to raise. Because I was like, it's Iran. Oh, lovely, right. We're going to wait till they blow themselves up before we start giving a flying fuck. Everyone's just going to be throwing it around, trying to straw man it and go, we should take care of Iran because of this. We should not take care of Iran because of that, and they're just going to run with the whole rest of the stupid idea until eventually they blow themselves up and we go, oh, maybe we should have done something, And then the other one I thought was funny because it's like, at the NFL, like, lovely. Let me shoot them all in the knee.
I think I need to have a conversation with Scribbles now. I think Splinter and The Root are from the same company.
It's possible.
That article is also in Splinter now.
Which one? The Drudge Report one I gave you about the Iran deal?
I have been raped by far nicer men than you.
Look at who the author is. It could be the author is taking the same story and is peddling the story to two different outlets. They do that sometimes. It's kind of lazy, but you can take the same story. If you have an exclusive with one person, you can actually take your own story and you can rewrite it so you're not giving them the same story, but you're touching on the same key points again. It could just be the same author.
Jimmy Kimmel can't save Donald Trump.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Jimmy Kimmel has ovaries now.
Jimmy Kimmel isn't worthy
That's
to
what's
carry.
going on with Jimmy Kimmel.
Who's pounding on their desk?
Me, sorry, man. I'm getting a cigarette.
And who's breathing into the microphone?
I don't know, but it's awesome. It's kind of keeping me in this weird semi-state of arousal. It doesn't need to stop. It needs to keep going.
Oh, my God. That's funny.
I mean, I've had weirder boners by far.
Oh, it's your roboting.
Yeah, my computer's a piece of shit. Is it better?
Yeah. Oh my god. Splinter is the root.
Hey, it would
You
make
know, it's
sense.
kind of like Coca-Cola. They have their hands in a lot of different pies. If you look at the labels of a lot of popular snack food, you'll see that it's owned by the Coca-Cola company.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I
Yeah,
need to
sister
talk to
companies
Turbo.
are amazing like that.
You guys are gonna love
Nestle
this.
has a lot of them. Monsanto has a lot of them. I mean, it's a business thing.
You wanna know
Yeah.
what other outlet is Splinter in the root?
What?
The Onion.
Oh God.
The Onion.
The Onion
Splinter
is
in the root.
intentional satire, though.
Well, don't you think the
Root-
root and Splinter is as well?
No, the Root and Splinter believe what they're saying. The Onion knows it's a joke.
Yeah, the Onion makes a joke on everything, even itself. I mean, the last time I picked it up, I nearly pissed my pants because they're making fun of some fat guy who fell asleep at the pool, and they're talking about, hey, he was a mysterious deep sea water creature of some kind or another that came up to the It was awesome.
Hey, speaking of mysterious deep sea water creatures, Scooby, I wanted to pick your brain later this week about Montauk, man.
Oh, about Montauk?
Yeah, the Montauk Project. I got into the fucking YouTube
Oh,
weird
hell
zone and
yeah.
started looking into that shit. So now I'm
I
just
used to
kind
go
of
out
want
there
to pick
every
your
summer.
brain since that's your spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
There's
used
a
to
lot
go
of
out there
weird
every
stuff
summer.
going on there.
A lot, really good fishing. Well, it is legit. The one thing.
Ever caught any three-eyed fish?
No, I haven't. I haven't caught anything like that. But I'll tell you this much: if you do go off Montauk Point,
Oh my god,
and-
I found one, and I need to give this to Monkey. A game
But if you
about
go-
deciding what is and is not soup.
that soup argument again.
Yes.
You should save that one when described. So I'm.
Plane likes to shut me down by saying that the soup is crackers. No, it's not. Because it's not crackers.
So, am I forced to save this until tomorrow? Is that what's going on?
I say
Yeah.
I
save
think
it.
you
I say
should,
save it for
as a
scrap.
courtesy. Yeah, that's his whole
Okay.
shtick.
'Cause it all boils down to utility. So you use the crackers much like you would use the spoon. Be gathering up contents and then eating it. Except that in the case of the spoon, you don't actually eat the spoon as well. So the crackers are acting like a secondary spoon.
And they enhance the flavor too.
Yeah, so they're more like salt than they are cereal. They're more like a spice than they are the cereal.
Why couldn't I have met you when I used to do mushrooms? Serious.
It sounds like one of those arguments where you're in the circle, you argue about asinine things, like how many buttholes does George Soros has, or how dark is Obama at midnight.
No, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of deep blue introspection.
Well, if you want to talk weird shit, I'm your guy. And I can do it stone cold sober.
Awesome. I always got weird crap to talk about.
I wasn't really into the whole drug scene. I was into the mind expansion scene. You have to remember it was the late 90s. So that's when psychedelia was like really back in full swing. I think we actually blew the 60s out of the water if you want to get down to it. We had psychedelic shit everywhere around here. Everything was day glow.
Yes, it seemed like popular culture wanted the 90s to be like a modernized 60s.
Yeah.
You look back at the very first year of the 90s and the release of what was that stupid movie with Dennis Hopper and Kiefer Sutherland, where he's the hippie that's running from the F.
Yeah, he did time because he supposedly disconnected a train or some shit, and so the FBI hit him with, because it was a federal offense, they hit him with like 20 years or whatever, and turned out he didn't do it.
Yeah, and what he said in that film is that the 90s are going to make the 60s look like the 50s. So I think that was the telegraphing that they were
Climate
did try.
change will also hurt poor people. Will also hurt poor people the most.
What are they talking about? Climate change hurting poor people?
Yep.
I don't think so. I mean, if it gets hot, they're not going to freeze to death. So
Moving on.
You know, I'll say this as somebody who lives in New York. If the climate change and everything, okay, let's say the sea levels rise, which apparently, from what I heard earlier today, is actually the opposite's happening. But I don't have the article to cite, so I'm not going to go into it. But we're at sea level over here, so if the sea levels rise, the homeless are going to drown.
Increase. Women are fighting on the front lines of California's wildfire for $1 an hour.
Okay.
Incarcerated women. We're talking about incarcerated women. People locked up.
Oh, I guess fire is the new orange.
Nice.
These chicks $1 an hour to go fight the fire.
That's what it sounds like. Incarcerated women are fighting on the front lines of California's wildfires for $1 an hour. They're incarcerated. They're lucky they're outside the freaking four walls.
Well, they're getting out and stretching their legs. It's a lot. I imagine it's a lot more fun than making license plates or whatever it is prison labor is doing these days.
Must be some kind of chain gang or something.
A large swath of California has been destroyed by wildfires that have left at least 21 dead, blazing thousands of homes and businesses throughout the region. 22 fires are still burning around the state. Their strength and okay, you're just telling us everything we already know. Where's the meat and potatoes of this damn article?
It's modern journalism. That's a lot to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, seeing how they don't know how to use grammar. And they make up their own freaking words.
Well, they like to be trendsetters. They like to be trailblazers. Oh, sorry, that's a bad pun to use in the circumstance.
Well, is more people using vagina English?
Yeah.
That figures. And I was not around to go and make the crack at it. Oh well.
In a cave once
Ajax just mentioned that the movie was Flashback.
Okay, Flashback. Yeah. Had Carol Kane in it as well.
Yeah, I remember that movie.
Ajax is in chat?
He hopped in for like 2 seconds to say goodnight. He has to crash out. He was, I think he worked a double or whatever. I didn't really go into it with him.
Oh, fuck. That sucks.
Hey, he's making that money. That's all that matters.
Yep.
True.
I hear that, man.
Money, money, money.
Once the holidays start up, they're probably going to be giving me more hours.
You know, that's one of the problems I have because what they did up here, they rolled a lot of the offices together. So you have to go, like, if you got to go for one thing, you have to go to the same building that DSS is in. And I nearly got into a fight there the other day because I'm in there and they're looking at me because I got an American flag on the cane I use.
Oh, that makes sense. Never mind.
Yeah, well, they're all sitting there with their do-rags and they're all staring at me because I got the cane on and, you know, I got the flag on the cane. One of them said something to me. I forget what he said. I said, no, actually, I want a job. I ain't here for free shit.
Lamborghini,
Nice.
Lamborghini front end found in parking lot after crash splits car in half. Take a guess where it's located.
Florida, man.
Yep.
Of course.
You know, I think there's a
Poor
reason
Lamborghini, though.
that insurance isn't required down there.
Yeah, insurance would be a nightmare in Florida just because the rate of stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, oh boy. Hearing fucking crazy stories like that makes me glad that I'm not working down at Walt Disney anymore. Ugh.
I have a theory that a considerable number of IQ points are being sucked right into the Bermuda Triangle.
That would make sense because if it starts dropping over in Japan, we know it's that what is it, the Dragon's Triangle or whatever it is on the other side.
Yeah, it's possible.
We just gotta wait and watch.
When we would have somebody move here from Florida when I was a kid in grade school, if they were in 4th grade, they'd have to go in 3rd grade up here because of how different the education is down there. And the same thing when we had people that would like move down there, if they were in like, let's say 4th grade, they put them in 5th grade just because of the difference in education. I don't know if that's still going on today, but I mean, I remember in the 80s and 90s that was prevalent. Like it was a known thing. They had like a really shitty education system down there. I hate saying it.
All the Florida man stories weren't a tip off for you?
Yeah. I'm serious, man. I've been down south in a few different locations, and when I was down in Florida, holy shit. I'm talking like straight up deliverance folks I ran into while I was down there. Like it actually frightened me. I mean, I'm in Miami too, you know. I'm in like this nice, like really.
Miami's like LA, dude. It's nice from the highway.
Yeah.
I'm saying I'm in this nice, beautiful
really
city,
pretty
and all
from
of
a
a sudden, this bunch of like, I hate whatever term I could use for them, but this pack of peckerwoods comes like whipping in this giant pickup on wheels, and like one of them gets out of the thing, and he comes up to me, he starts talking to me, and he's like, "Hey, y'all one of them Mexicans?" And I'm like, "No, man, I'm from up north." He's like, "Oh, yeah, Yankee."
I have a question. Are we sick of Harvey Weinstein stories yet?
Well, it depends. How good is it? What did Harvey do this time?
Don't worry, Paddington 2 is safe from Bob Weinstein.
Oh, thank God, I can sleep tonight.
Well, Paddington was a pretty good movie, but I would not have been overly concerned if a sequel was not greenlit because of Mr. Weinstein and his proclivities.
Well, this is a really short article.
Yeah, by all means, go over it. I mean, how many plants did he violate today with his excrements?
Reports about the Weinstein Company supposed intimate shutdowns in the wake of the multiple allegations, and it's like multiple allegations bold and underlined, like as if they don't believe it, of rape, sexual assault, and sexual harassment against co-founder Harvey Weinstein. His brother and CEO Bob has released a statement to ensure people that Paddington 2 and War with Grandpa will be fine. Where was this when fucking Bloodwing was on?
Yeah, that would have been great to talk to him about. That would have been funny. I mean, to talk about beating the hell out of a pizza. That would have fit right in with, seating upon a plant that did not need it, you know?
I really I want to hear his story about what reception the pizza guy had. These guys that show up at the door, pay for the pizza, and they're just like blotted out of their minds. So I figure this pizza's not gonna make it to mealtime.
In a piece published on Friday, the Wall Street Journal reported that Weinstein Co. is exploring a sell or shutdown and is unlikely to continue as an independent intermediate. A person close to the company said, which might spark worries that Paddington 2 and War with Grandpa might be in jeopardy. But you can relax, according to Bob, who insists that the statement that the Weinstein Co. will operate regularly. That's the whole article.
Well, shit, I was having great difficulties with the possibility that I might not get more Paddington.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping to hear more stories about this bastard, abusing the rights of plants and more women. Just getting about seeding upon people and plants that were not deserving of his wretchedness. Because plant lives matter. They need water, not splooge.
So if Weinstein gets chased out of Hollywood, is he going to open up a plant nursery?
Nah, more likely than not, him and Roman Polanski will found a new studio overseas, probably.
Probably they'll probably go to China or something and have like Malice Pedophiles Are Us incorporated as a film studio or something.
I'm hoping this actually becomes a trend. Where we slowly but surely over the next 4 years, I'd really like to see more and more of these celebrities start to leave because it comes out what evil people they are.
Well, I think after
Evil always
depending on
itself,
what
man.
happens,
That's part of the pattern, part of the chaos.
I think depending on what happens with Weinstein depends on what we see, because this is kind of like taking the big dog down type of thing. And if this goes very well, I'm pretty sure you'll be seeing a lot more people coming out with stuff like this because they won't be scared.
I hope Hollywood just crashes in upon itself and just burns.
That would be nice.
Hey, Burnside, I hate to burst your little want bubble, but California's already on fire. It won't take long before Hollywood gets there.
I hope so. And yeah, that's right. I forgot about it. Forest fire. All right. Well, I hope all those communist bastards burn over there.
I actually liked what Sticks Hexenhammer said was his solution with California. He said, let them secede. He said, and then we can annex them and take them back and force them under federal control and take away their state rights.
Hey, sounds good to me now.
I think that we should let them exceed and then cut their water off and then watch them beg for us to take them back because they realized how much they needed us.
Well, we'll have to cut off their utilities unless they want to try and take control of what little they have over there. I mean, water is definitely going to get cut off as far as power. Anything aside from the plants inside the California territory is not going to be giving them shit. I mean, if they want to become, the United Soviet States of California, by all means, let them live out their own stupid dystopic fantasy, and then let them die on their communism as they realize that red lines are terrible. Let them starve the Great Red Famine.
Let them figure out their problems.
No airplanes in or out of the United States either. So if you live in California and you secede, you can't get into the United States anymore.
Hey, sounds good. I mean, hell, why don't we make a wall around them while we're at it? Treat them like North Korea. All right.
Or Mexico.
Build a wall around California and then just let them do whatever they want inside there. And then,
just that little piece of wall that separates California from Mexico, just turn and have that follow the California border instead.
Yeah.
Cut off the snow-peaked mountains, though.
That way,
damn it, I want to ski.
People in Mexico can get into California, no problem. Because that's California's responsibility to build a wall there.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Another thing I would love to see is California turn into 2 states. That damn state has way too much power.
Oh, God, yeah, it does have too much power. I mean, it's got a massive voting block. It's got a massive electoral pull.
Like, seriously, it can control the country. I mean, look at the pack. Any of you guys that have cigarettes, look at your cigarette. What does it say? It says something, the Department of Health of California.
Yeah. If we didn't have the Electoral College,
California would be solely choosing everything.
Yeah, California would literally dictate whoever the president would be, and it would not be a very good United States.
Well, we're going to have to let them secede just so that we can annex them and bring them back in.
Or to bite
Hey,
them.
by all means. Yeah, I'm all for it, man. I mean, if they're looking for volunteer brigade, shit, I'll sign up to go and help annex the sorry sons of bitches.
That's the whole thing.
I'll
I
go
keep
in there.
saying, you do that, you get California back into the Union properly, and then when the liberals that have destroyed that state flee, and they come back here, just wall them
can't-
up in my state.
They
I
can't.
have no
flee.
problem with that.
I'm willing to give it up, give it to whoever wants it, as long as we get our property back. All the fucking assets that the U.S. government has put into it, they can do whatever they want after that.
Yeah, sounds good to me, man.
Still think that you should try to save California because it's got so much good shit going on over there, like agricultural and all the different, mineral rights and things
They
of that
don't
nature.
have much agriculture when they run out of water.
Yeah,
Right. Well, I'm just
Go
land
right into
itself.
the desert.
Well, that's what I'm saying is you got to get rid of all these, ship walls, and they'll all flee back here. So once they flee back here, wall up. It's easier because New York's all islands. Just get rid of the bridges and tunnels and trap them here.
Yeah.
Totally get that
I wonder how
off.
they would flee back here. They'd have to get past the National Guard that we're going to post on their border.
I think what we could
No,
do
no, send them
is
back.
we could
Send them
take
back.
them
Just
as
don't tell me
prisoners
not let
of
them out of New
war.
York. I'd rather we lose the islands of the New York City metro area than the entire state of California. Just let them get to the airports and mail them back here. I have no problem because I look at it this way. They're all degenerates anyway, so they're either going to drink or drug themselves to death within a year because they can't go back to California. So I have nothing to worry about. I can put up with it for 18 months. Seriously,
That is-
I'll take it for the
that is
country.
really-
If they lower
I'm
my
happy for the
taxes,
wall around California idea, man, because they're going to be they're a sanctuary state now, as laughable as that is. And you can pretty much give anybody you want HIV and AIDS. That's great. And they don't want to follow the rules, the guidelines of the Constitution or whatever. That's cool. We should make it a reality show. It's going to turn into Sodom and Gomorrah in that motherfucker within 5 years. I guarantee it.
Oh,
Well, we can
God,
let all the
It'll just be
leftists.
a fuck to death ball of
I can see it now
Sure.
on Fox News tonight. California in flames. On InfoWars, the great state of Commufornia.
It's still.
do you know
a
why
crime.
they're?
It's just not
Do
a
you know why they're
felony.
all moving from? You know why they're all moving from California to Austin, Texas, right?
Look, there was this
Texas
guy
is
on
California.
YouTube years ago, right? Let me just throw out a little AIDS, knowingly giving people AIDS anecdote.
Mm-hmm.
Dude on YouTube a long ass time ago, and his name was the Trash Man. It was this scrawny little black dude. He covered his face with like nylon fucking stockings or bandanas and shit, right? And this motherfucker would get on camera and talk about how he worked at Gerber and he was fucking deliberately like putting blood in the fucking baby food and all this crazy, crazy shit, dude. And was all the time talking about AIDS infested babies. Actually, fucking people started reporting him, and I'm pretty sure he ended up getting fucking arrested. I'd have to look it up. But yeah, he was doing all this crazy shit that he was saying he was doing.
So what were you talking about, Austin?
But the thing with Austin, from what I understand, they're all moving there like in droves from California. All the liberals, they have been for the past 20 or 30 years.
Yeah, I can tell you that is exactly what's happening, and that's one of the reasons why I don't go to Austin anymore, because of all the damn SJWs.
Don't you?
Yeah, they're going to try to convert the state of Texas into a blue state.
Right. You know
Good
why
luck.
specifically they targeted Texas, don't they?
Probably the same reason they target Colorado.
No. Texas, out of every state in the union, Texas is the only one that is not slave to a grid that
Yeah.
shares with other states. If you live anywhere in the continental U.S., you either fall into the Eastern Bloc or the Western Bloc. The Mississippi is the dividing line. Texas has its own power and its own water. It is not dependent on either of the grids that the rest of the country is.
Also, Texas can succeed without having to pay a fine or anything.
Yeah, Texas can
Right.
technically secede from the Union and become its own independent nation state again because of
Yep.
the circumstances it originally joined the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, it goes deeper because their actual infrastructure is completely independent. It's the only state that's 100% self-sufficient within the continental United States. The point is, this is the reason these blue dick bags have targeted it. They're trying to turn it into the Democrat utopia they were trying to do with California. Then they realized, oh shit, we're tethered to the rest of the country in a bad way. So,
well, yeah, they overregulated and ran themselves down into a shithole because these bastards literally are self-destructive. They're trying to make all these insane type of rules and regulations and make it literally impossible to make something decent. And when you do make something decent, they call you a buzzword and try and confiscate it or destroy it. You know, they don't allow themselves
This
to have.
is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Bolsheviks love to violate the rage-infested testicles.
We have to look. Well, one of the things that I think that we're going to have to look into to actually tackle these problems. What laws were put in the state after McCarthyism that protect the communists? That's one of the things that you're going to have to look at, and you're going to have to get rid of those laws. That's one of the things that's going to have to be rolled back because obviously from the behavior that we've been seeing for the past 24 months now, since the elections were announced and how it started to escalate, and then last summer it started to get full blown. And now Berkeley has basically become, like our generation's version of Gettysburg, but instead of 2 days now, it's going on for months. I'm guessing that maybe we should not only use these communist laws against the communists, but we should. I have said this many times. I really do think, especially now with the thing with Harvey Weinstein, we're pretty much, I'm guessing, a few pages away from turning the book and finding, the evidence to actually shed some light on this Pizzagate thing that these people have been talking about now, or something related to that.
Apparently, been like thousands and thousands of pedos arrested since Trump's took office.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is
Listen
what
to the alt media.
Like
You take it with a grain of salt.
really
The mainstream doesn't talk about it.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying is we're really going to have to start looking at these laws that we used to have under McCarthy. I mean, we might actually have to refashion new ones specifically to go after the Democratic National Committee itself. I'm not talking about going after every single Democrat,
Yeah,
It would be nice.
I haven't heard anything about the committee, like the actual organization, other than the members just saying outright ignorant, senile sounding shit all the time.
Yeah, the DNC is literally trying to dissolve this country into a full-on violent revolution.
Yeah.
Like they literally want like the Spanish Civil War on American soil. They want to split the U.S. into like 4 or 8 different regional powers and have them simultaneously combat each other so that they can eventually, in the end, reconsolidate everything under their control.
I don't think they'll do well in my state. And not even from the people, just the terrain. It wouldn't work.
I wish I could say the same thing for my state, man. If they fire that off in Chicago, they'll very likely be successful, and I'll have to flee to Indiana. I mean, not that it's that far for me to go, but
stay away from the cities. They're not.
Yeah,
stay away from the city. Don't go to Indianapolis, whatever you do.
Oh, gee, you think? No, I'll be far away from that area. There's a couple ports in the storm in Indiana I could go to.
Oh yeah.
I've got contingencies in case that happens, but I'm hoping that in the off case they stick this out and they start this in Chicago, I can basically round everyone up and make a final stand at least. Because I'm glad that they've really underestimated me because I'm fairly, despite the fact I went up on C-SPAN, I'm still fairly underneath these morons' radar because they're so preoccupied with the big problems.
Hey, Burnside, I had a question for you, man.
Sure.
What do you know anything about the black sites that were making the rounds? I think it was like last year, maybe last year in a few months.
Yeah. The one in particular that was in Chicago, here's what happened with that, because my one neighbor, who sadly now is my enemy, well, technically my mother's neighbor, because he's a jagoff, but that actual black site was basically it was an equipment facility, because the problem is with the city of Chicago, we've never been able to have a stable budget. Never. We just are fucking stupid with money because of the Democrats and the idiots that run the city as a whole. So basically, what we do,
politics.
The only thing that is properly decentralized for all intents and purposes is the police department. the police department, they've got, their individual little headquarters in their districts and what have you. Their different departments and then their central hubs and what have you. And basically, whenever old buildings go up for auction, normally the different departments that are the head of the city basically get to bid for what they're going to use it for. That site in particular, the CPD used it as an equipment place. They basically had a whole bunch of, it's kind of like the building I work in right now, where, it's basically just a hoarding facility for, equipment.
So
And,
they had rooms set aside that they were taking inmates to, I guess, then?
It could be possible. Depending on the circumstances, it's likely that they could have dragged in one of the guys and just said, listen here, motherfucker, you're going to tell us what the fuck's going on, or we're going to beat the hell out of you, because as much as I do support my local PD guys, there are some districts in Chicago that are still pretty mob-like and have a disregard for the law. They will abuse their authority. Sadly, not all the CPD are like my guys over in the 10th Ward, where they're decent people that live in the neighborhoods. They want to keep it clean. A couple of them like to abuse their authority. I've more so heard horror stories that on like the west side and the north side and that, but that's because those areas are normally ghettos, so they get a little bit of leeway with being heavy-handed. And this was probably one of the worst case scenarios of one of those cases. They found a fucking kid selling drugs or whatever. They already dealt with like 4 or 5 of them earlier and said, you know what, let's make an example of this guy. Let's bring him to the equipment place. And, they brought him there with a couple of his buddies, whatever, and took turns beating the hell out of him and then said, all right, listen here, motherfuckers. You're going to get the hell out of our neighborhood and you're going to stay the hell out of our neighborhood. Keep doing it. That's most likely what wound up happening. And then the communists and the BLM and the rest of those bastards found out about it and went, oh, my peoples are being oppressed. And it's like, oh, lovely. And then it became a circus.
I'll have to look it up. I think the story was crazier than that, man. I want to say it was something about a dude who had died in custody in one of these black sites or something. That's what they kept calling.
Yeah, they broke his back. That's what happened to him. Yeah. They act like the dude died in the back of a squad car. They basically beat the hell out of this guy, and they were dropping him off wherever they're going to drop him off. And then he died on the way to wherever they're going to drop him off. So they just dropped his body off, and we're like, all right,
I remember that guy. I think this was something different. I'll have to look it up later, man.
There were at least 5 people that this happened to, the nail of offhand, and most guaranteed 2 of them I think were relatively innocent or were just guilty by association. But most of the people that did get caught by this did have a gang or drug background. So it was more so just another one of the side effects of the war on drugs. It's the cops versus the gangs, and then instead of the gangbangers being the ones who did the wrong, it's more so the cops in this case. They went and over abused their authority because my guess from just looking at it is they're just tired of the shit. They did the wrong thing at the wrong time and they knew it, and they're just like, well, fuck it. If we're going to lose our jobs and, get all this book thrown at us, we may as well make it count and make a statement. I think they just did a really bad set of vigilante justice, and it bit them square in the ass as it should have. Because we do have like the secret equipment facilities in that. Like I know in the building I'm doing security at, we've got some stuff here. But it's uncommon for people to go and actually hold people in these facilities. But with how crazy some of the PD guys get, I wouldn't put it past them for bringing them into, these places for a discreet interrogation, if you get where I'm going.
Yeah.
But, as far as all the cases of like literally basically going like slave style and like chaining these peoples into cells and walls and all shit like that, that's very, very unlikely. That's probably RevCom propaganda, if anything. Because we've got a lot of equipment facilities or facilities like the one I'm in where they have, the paperwork and all the other medical medicine and other crap. Like when they had some festival about a few months back, I had guys coming in from the fire department and EMTs and what have you coming in left and right because they were running low or needing to get more stuff that they give people to protect them from overdosing. Like it's supposed to be a kickback drug, so when somebody's ODing, you stick them with the stuff and they come back too. In the case of the police department, same thing. They come here for the baloney. They come here for the paperwork, and then they come here for like all the other miscellaneous crap that they need. So, you know, the black site is basically just an off-the-record equipment facility that they use for whatever the hell they need it for. And in some cases, you know, it could be a rough interrogation and fucking people up, you know, so that their sergeant or lieutenant or whoever doesn't find out they're doing something they shouldn't do.
Just let go. Bad kitty.
Ow. Yeah, man, I got a weird connection to Chicago, man. My hometown. We invented the Tommy gun, and allegedly all the old Chicago gangsters, Capone and them, used to come down to Newport and hide away when shit got too hot in the cities.
Yeah, they went there a lot, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird because the houses, you could tell what houses used to be whorehouses because the bottom floor will have 3 big ass rooms in it, and every room has a door to the outside.
Yeah, one of my other old members, her girlfriend actually lived in one of those houses out in the burbs and that. And I was just looking at this place and I was like, I know exactly what the hell this was used for because this is the strangest layout I've ever seen. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great, man.
Yeah, from all the way from the southern end of Illinois to Missouri to Idaho, Wisconsin, practically everywhere around the central states, you'll find all sorts of interesting little hovels and homes like that the mob or the other factions used for hideaways and what have you. I mean, that's why like a good portion of the actual Chicago underground is still around. Like it's buried for all intents and purposes, except for a couple places. But, you know, if you still know the ways around, you can get into places you shouldn't be able to get into, like it's someone's bar or business, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
gotta come in handy when you're trying to get away from the cops.
Oh, that's what they originally designed the stuff for. They designed the stuff as a literal underground tunnel network for smuggling alcohol and guns and anything else, and for running from the cops. You know,
I'm just saying, you probably are privy to a lot of things that the cops have forgotten about because no one's using them for illegal shit anymore. So the new generation of cops probably aren't aware of them.
Yeah. Most of the cops just take it as superstition and fairy tales and stuff. As far as the whole underground networks and stuff. They figured most of them got buried and concreted up and what have you. But a couple are still around.
Back when I was a kid, you could go.
But there's a few that are still around.
Back when I was a kid, you could go into like different parts of Brooklyn and Queens, and what it was just because no one kept good records. It's actually like if you ever seen like in the Ninja Turtles when they show them like they have this really huge area in the sewers, and somebody said to me, they're like, why would there be an area of the sewers like that? The way that they used to design things back in the day, they really weren't too good at making things like small and efficient, so they used to make things really elaborate. So you could actually, like, we found a few places when I was a kid where you could just go and you find like whole storage areas that are underground, like abandoned subway stations, that sort of thing. So a whole lot of
love places like that.
Yeah, there's a really big squatting community in New York. You can find whole buildings abandoned.
The New York homeless squatters are like legendary, man.
Nice.
Homeless, I'm talking. You find places that like underground, like you'll find old warehouses that were underground storage areas, like they had built them for, let's say, World War I or World War II, things of that nature, and no one used them, so they still have running sewer, water, and power. There's actually like there's a whole contingent of people that they just live in these places and they have normal lives, and they just live as squatters. Like they showed this one guy, and it was a Con Edison storage area, and he turned it into you go in through his manhole cover, and you go down. It's not in the sewers though. It's a Con Edison area, and he converted it into a studio apartment. He just has to get in and out through a manhole cover.
Hell yeah.
That's pretty
and
awesome.
The sad thing is that the city never finds out about it because there's so much sprawl. Like they'd start a project and there's a lot of overlap. So certain grid areas will just get left. So there are places where no one will check the place for like 50, 60 years. There are some of these people, like it's kind of sad. Some of them are like squatter families. They've lived there for like 2-3 generations and they get pitched out when the city finally comes to look and they're like, what the hell are you doing here? Well, my family's lived here since the 40s. You have like actually, you got situations like that.
That's how you know you have too many people in too small an area.
And that reminds me of the game. I don't know if you guys remember it, but there's a game called Freedom Fighters back in the early Xbox days where it was the Soviet Union or Russia, whichever, or actually invaded America, and they took over New York. And in the late part of the game, in order to take back a good portion of, I think it was New Island or Manhattan or what have you, like your group actually winds up living in this old abandoned sewer area or something like that in like upstate Manhattan or some crap like that.
You said it was
actually
weird. Fighter?
If you get past, once you get above Harlem on the island of Manhattan, it gets rural again. It's a little bit actually kind of creepy and unsettling. Like it just all of a sudden it goes back to houses. And a lot of people don't know that about Manhattan Island because no one ever goes north of Harlem. It's just a part that's not visited. And I never really knew this myself until I went back in 2004. I went to the media conference that they had at the Roosevelt Hotel in Manhattan. And I was talking to this kid there, and he goes like this. He's like, I've never been here before. I go, you've never been to New York? He goes, no, I'm from New York. I've just never been here. I said, what, Manhattan? He's like, no, I'm from Manhattan. So it's like pulling teeth with this fucking guy. So I'm like, okay, what are you talking about? Oh, I'm from North Manhattan. I go, North Manhattan. I'm looking at him. And he goes, yeah, I live right underneath the Bronx. He goes, I live in a house. He's like, there's houses in my neighborhood. It's like, my family never let me come to this part of the island. We basically would, we stick to around by our house. And I'm looking at this guy like, you live on Manhattan Island and you've never been to New York City. It's the only thing I could think of talking to this guy. And this is a grown man. This guy's like 22 years old at the time I'm talking to him. But it's like mind blowing. It's one of those things that like a lot of people don't realize. So I thought this kid was bullshitting me till I got in. I saw one. There's not. I don't think I even could find a subway at the time that even ran up to where this kid said he was from. But I went and drove through there one day, and sure enough, it's really weird. It's like it's an industrial park and this little rural area on the very northernmost tip of Manhattan. But something that they don't mention. Yeah, there's a lot of shit around here that's a little bit unsettling.
Dude, you probably, oh man, I'd love to take you through some of the old barn houses and shit around here, man. Around here, we have these weird urban ruins where like the fucking earth is taking it back, but it's not like big skyscrapers and shit. It's like old schoolhouses, old stone made, fucking handmade wooden barns and shit that are out in the middle of fields and shit. There's a lot of unsettling shit out here, man.
I've been to like certain parts of the South and it was nice, but again, you're in the touristy areas. I've never really I always wanted to check out Kentucky. It's just I never had any reason to go to Kentucky. No offense, it's just there was nothing ever dragging me there.
Dude, the only thing we're known for is horses, tobacco, and Daniel Boone. Fucking
probably
Jack
the
Daniels.
horses I'd be interested in. Like horses, I might actually want to check that out. Just figures, I like horses, but I married. No, I'm saying I like horses. I married the only woman on earth. I go, hey, because we live right by an area where people go horseback riding, and I told her, I said, you want to go? What the fuck do I want to go by the horses for? They smell and they shit everywhere.
That is a true statement.
Yeah, but I found the only woman I think in America that does not like horses. I said, you didn't like horses as a teenager? She's like, no. What the fuck would I want smelly horses for?
Hell yeah.
Any pictures? I go like this. You didn't have any pictures of unicorns or anything in your room? She's like, no, I'm not gay. I said, okay. You'd get a kick out of my wife, Pox. You really like her.
Hell yeah. It sounds like it, man.
Yeah, she used to make fun of me. Because I told him, I said, I happen to like horses. She looks and she gives me this look. She's like, are you with me just to hide something? I said, no, I'm not with you just to hide something. I'm just saying. They're cool. I said, how can you not like horses? But, that's just
When I was in high school, man, we had a class called equine science, and it was nothing but horse biology.
That sounds
the
pretty
entire
cool.
class. You could take it the entire year. It's pretty cool.
I've met people from the Northeast that unfortunately are convinced that everyone in Texas rides a horse.
Oh yeah, remember when I told you they really convinced us that in the South, one, they convinced us that Texas did have power, but everyone down there had 10-gallon hats. That's what they did convince us of when I was in grade school. But they convinced us that southern states, depending on if you were in a city, if you were in a southern city, more likely than not, the municipalities would provide power and water. But if you were in a house, you most likely did not have power and water. That's what we were taught. We were taught that everyone down south had outhouses still.
There were still a few spots, a few houses way out in the middle of nowhere, man, that didn't have power when I was growing up.
Oh yeah, we have them up here too.
Like we're still being industrialized and urbanized.
Believe it or not, Southwest New Jersey is probably one of the places that has it's probably one of the more rural states per capita. A lot of people don't realize it. They think New Jersey, but yes, certain parts of New Jersey, the Pine Barren area. There's areas in the Jersey Pine Barrens where the people are still 90% of that neighborhood is using outhouses and is not using power because they just never went on the grid. But again, this is what they were teaching us about the South. They taught us, again, like I said, it was the teachers we had at the time, because we literally had Rosie the Riveter, who came off of the assembly line 40 years ago and was working there with her tenure. So this shit. They taught us really horrible shit. Now I'm looking back.
The South that they're describing hasn't existed, I think, since the 1920s or 1930s.
Yeah, I remember that's a big thing because I came home from school and my father goes, "What's the matter?" I look at him, I go, "Dad, the teacher told me today Italian people are inbred. They marry their cousins." That didn't go over
Holy
well.
shit.
Yeah. And we were complaining. They say the same thing. Look, she's been with the school since 1935. We can't fire her. You'd hear shit like that.
Yeah.
But they really did a number on us. They had us convinced all sorts of shit. They tried to convince. Some of these teachers were really messed up. One of them, I don't know what was wrong with her. I think it was because her husband was like, that's what it was. Her husband was FBI. And he was specifically, he was a liaison for the reservations. The reservations out, where are they really prominent? Is it Montana?
There's areas of New Mexico, areas of Wyoming, parts of Colorado. There's
like where that them again. We're going back to Val Kilmer. That movie with Val Kilmer, with where he was out on the reservation and he's FBI.
Thunderheart or something like that.
1992-ish,
I'm thinking.
Yeah. He that was actually what this guy did. He was a liaison for them. So this woman was trying to convince us in class that the reservations are a good thing, and they did a favor for the Native Americans. Yeah. And one of the kids in the class, I think, was either half Algonquin or half Iroquois, and it caused a whole big thing. And the woman wound up having to, I think, retire like the next year.
Yeah, the reservation life is not pleasant.
Yeah, but no, Six, you're absolutely right. They really did. They did a disservice teaching the kids this shit when I was younger. And it's still, I want to shoot you later. I'll shoot you a link to this documentary about New York City. And I think it was on A&E or PBS or something, and it's from like 20 years ago. And you read the comment section, but you watch the documentary, but you read the comment section, like, holy shit, these people are so full of themselves. These New Yorkers. Yeah. Really, the whole documentary, and I'm watching the documentary, you're like, my God, no wonder people, like, when we were down at Moore, you can ask Burnside, every 5 minutes, people are like, let me tell you something about you New Yorkers. That's all I kept hearing.
They're gonna shove some type of banter down his throat or something.
Hey, it's the curse of living in a deep blue state, man.
Like, oh yeah, fucking Yankee Doodles.
They were getting really, really hostile about it. Like, they're yelling at me, and luckily I kept saying to them, I'm like, I'm from the same part of the state as Trump. And that immediately, it would do a 180 on the conversation. Oh, I love President Trump. I'm like, yeah, good. Thank God I can play that card. They're ready to tar and feather me.
They thought he was a communist in disguise.
Yeah, people get like angry with me.
Yeah, they were either like really enthralled by his voice, or they were like, "What the fuck are you doing here, all the way from New York, you commie son of a bitch?"
Dude, if
You know,
Scoop ever
I
decided to go
personally
commie,
get
we'd
that
be
kind
in
of
trouble
treatment
because
as soon as I
he'd
told
be the
everyone I was
best
an Arab.
commie orator ever.
I could never go communist. I like owning shit.
Yeah.
I'd actually rather be dead than red, man. Fuck communism. It permits
Yeah, that's
genocide.
what I actually said to Pox earlier. Better dead than red.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah.
That's gonna be my
Yeah,
next
pretty much
episode.
what you've said is what I've heard from so many people that have escaped the state of New York, and for all intents and purposes, Manhattan is like its own city state.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things I tell people all the time. That's why I advocate for New York. Is you have to just wall off Manhattan. You know, they'll more likely than not they'll slip into a diabetic and drug-induced coma within a year because of the depression. I don't know why they're going to be depressed. You could wall Manhattan off, and if you didn't tell them nothing would happen, they wouldn't notice it. But the minute you tell them there's a wall there, oh no, and they'll party themselves to death.
Yeah, all the really good people that I've gotten along with from the New York area have been either from Brooklyn, the Bronx, or Queens, and I haven't met anybody from Harlem, but I assume that they're good people too.
I had a couple buddies. It was a dude and his cousin. They had this little garage band, and the front man for the band decided, yeah, we're gonna move to New York. We're gonna try to see what we can do there, right? Dude, they were there for all of a year. One of them ended up addicted to heroin because of some Puerto Rican chick, and the other one came back so scrawny. He was like, and he wasn't on drugs, I don't think, but he just said that it was cool if you didn't mind eating cereal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Expensive as hell here.
It was like, Jesus. I was like, yeah, that doesn't sound pleasant at all.
What we usually tend to live off of here is cereal and ramen noodles. That's really the big thing. The trick is you have to supplement your diet. You go to GNC, you get a thing of the vitamin powder, and you just make sure you have a 8-ounce glass of the vitamin powder with usually like almond milk or something, and yeah, you're good. You get your nutrition. Otherwise, you do get skinny as a rail.
God damn, that's fucked up, dude.
Oh, and I just checked.
And you know, it was
Thunder
more
Heart.
fucked up for them because they were doing the underground music thing. Sorry, bud. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
So Thunderheart was released in 1992.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
Yeah, but that's what that woman's husband did. That's the reason she was really messed up. She was the one that told us the story. Now, this is my 3rd grade teacher. We wanted her gone because I actually had to go to therapy for this. She told us about an urban legend at this point about the hippies who got so high they were babysitting and they put the kid in the oven because they thought it was a turkey.
Oh yeah, I heard that one too.
Yeah, she told us this when we were 9. You know, Nancy Reagan was the first lady, and they were doing that. You know, we're gonna, dare to keep kids off of drugs, and they were pushing the anti-drug rhetoric. And so she decided to tell us all these stories about what people did when they were on drugs. Yeah, it really fucked us up royally. I'll never forget it. Her name was Mrs. Farrell. Yeah. That's part of the thing. I always say, when people talk to me, we got to reform education in this country. It was bad enough when I was a kid. You had these freaking you had like these hardcore Republican women that were sitting there working on the assembly line with a fucking sledgehammer built in a freaking Spitfire, and now you have these freaking bees that are dealing in beads teaching you kids. It swung the whole other opposite direction. And look, I'm at this point. I think I told you when I went up to the college a few months ago and I was looking to re-enroll, I told them I came from a military family and they told me they offered counseling for that.
What the hell?
Yeah, I remember you telling me that. I
The problem in this country where
that's insane, dude. You need therapy because you
when
grew
you're
up
a
in
military service is
family.
considered
That's insane.
If now being military is considered a form of like abuse. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's asinine.
Wait, what? No.
Yeah.
When I went up to the college, Pox, and I went to enroll, and I was talking to the woman. I had mentioned I came from a military family, and she told me they offered counseling for that.
You came from a military family, or you had been in the military?
No, I came from a military family, and I told her about how I had grown up. I said, when I was a kid, that we would do revelry every morning, and I had to be home at sundown for, for taps and for the 12 folds of the flag. And she looked at me. I said, yeah. I said, came from an old school military family. I said, we use military time and everything. And she goes, oh, you poor thing. We offer counseling for that.
Yeah, it's fucking insane.
That's awful.
Maybe they offer counseling that would help you with that, but not specifically because you're a military person.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt. I told Burnside about this, and he didn't believe me. I brought him a picture of the new bathroom signs that they have on the campus, and it's a psychedelic handicap sign.
He's not bullshitting.
Burnside actually seen it.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not bullshitting.
On all of the bathrooms.
When I meet him,
What does that mean though? Because it's psychedelic.
I don't know. I have no idea. I just showed him what the new signs look like. They like had like a facsimile one, and like it had a thing on the back. We're pleased to offer that. We have the bathrooms that accommodate all genders, all handicap, all this, all beliefs.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, it literally.
Yeah, and I showed
some type of psychedelic PC culture propaganda piece, and it was intended to be used for a bathroom. Like when you'd go and look for like male or female restroom, you'd see this weird looking trippy 80s thing that has a dude in a wheelchair, and then it says this whole BS about how this is an all-gender restroom. I'm just looking at this, and I literally blinked. Like, it took me a good 3 minutes to process this, and I went, wow, you weren't bullshitting me. Holy fuck. And I handed it back to Scooby, and I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you want to know how I know the SJW war isn't won yet? It's starting to pick up down here. I was talking to somebody that works at a nursing home kitchen, and they have a food item called an Oriental chicken salad. And the director of operations told them to change the name because it was racist.
Oh, bullshit.
Yes.
Okay, first off, Orient is actually a geographic region. It's the region in between where you go from Asia Minor into the Middle East, and where the two of them intersect with Asia itself and Russia. It's that little area right above the Baltics. Oh, what the... What about
what bothers me is that they still have two bathrooms in restaurants, one for men and transgender and one for women.
So they just built a third bathroom?
No, they took the men's bathroom and made the men's bathroom a transgender, so you can be transgender and male, and then they have the women's room. You can't be a transgender and go into the women's room.
Fucking ass.
And they were fine with this. They didn't start screaming about
it's starting to be everywhere.
We need feminine penises in the women's room.
It's starting to be everywhere.
Why would they? Because mostly fucking psychopathic women or sociopathic women that are pushing this crap,
They just don't want people with penises in the girls' room. That's what they're trying to do.
It's a damn woman.
That's insane. I've been reeling ever since I heard the term feminine penis, and it was actually being used in a serious manner.
This is all feminism. This is the reason why MGTOW exists. It's all because of feminism.
Yeah. And they're
MGTOW is the greatest. It's like the locale that keeps on giving. I'll give props to the normal guys that are just kind of, I want to play video games, or I just want to bang hot bitches and not get married. Like, they're cool. But then when you get into the crazier ones, dude, it's great.
Well, every ideology has their normal people and then their crazy people. Along that ideology, you have vegans and then you have vegan gains. You have feminists and then you have Christy winners. So there's always the people who are somewhat reasonable and then the crazy people. It's even in the skeptic community. You have the skeptics and then you have the people who are just fucking out there with conspiracy theories and Alex Jones and shit like that. So every group has the Looney Tunes. That doesn't make the group bad. It just makes the Looney Tune bad.
Well, somebody has to make the frogs gay.
Yeah. And I'd like to say I'd rather have anarchism without Antifa, but it wouldn't give me something to fight, I guess.
I think it's the
You
chemical
just wouldn't be able
chemtrails.
to live out your childhood fantasies of fighting ninjas. That's all. It's the only thing that would change.
You know, the funny thing is, I actually have a couple low belt ranks in martial arts.
Hell yeah, put it to good use. Punch a ninja.
I will. I almost got to it more. I don't know. Did I ever tell you guys about how one of the Antifa assholes stole a hat at the Juggalo March?
I don't think I heard that one.
Juggalos didn't beat him to death.
They came very close. Here's,
Yeah, I would
I'll
imagine.
give you the abridged version of it because this only happened within a few minutes. What happened is it took me a while, but I eventually convinced Diogenes to drag Ajax and Scooby into the Juggalo March because I was telling them, hey, there's Antifa here, there's Antifa here. And we originally were, we're not too far behind Antifa, and then they got somehow far ahead of them, and I wound up right on their six as I was watching them. And I was basically yelling on the walkie half the time, where the fuck are you guys? And, here and there, the Antifa guys are looking back at me and whatever and that. And then I wound up chit-chatting with a few of them, and, it didn't get completely hostile on that. It was more like a agree to disagree. And then one of them that was like all clad in black, the fucking face cloth thing and everything with fucking hockey, with some type of football or hockey armor on and a baseball bat in his backpack. Steal some dude's MAGA hat or some fucking look-alike red hat. And then I go running right after the guy, and I tell him, you go give that back. I was like, that's him, you effing give that back now, all right? I said something derogatory at him and told him to give it back, and the dude just tossed it. And then basically, when I start to turn around, all the Juggalos kind of started forming a circle around them, and then just started shouting, "You fucked up, you fucked up." And then shortly after,
I got a more question, man. Were you afraid that the Bandito burrito was going to eat you?
Yeah, there were a couple times where I was afraid, some crazy crap was going to happen, and either a baseball bat or get devoured or some crazy crap like that. I actually thought that crazy lady that called me a fake anarchist was going to eat me alive or something.
I was talking about that big guy. I think Diogenes put up a video on his channel of you guys talking to some Antifa or trying to talk to him. There's this really, really big dude.
He came and stood in front of me like he was going to do something.
Yeah, had a bandana over his face, and I'm just like, yeah.
Oh, I know what one you're talking about.
Sorry.
Yeah, I ran into that guy a few times when he never really talked to me. I was just like, Jesus Christ, he's a big son of a bitch. I didn't know who was bigger, that fat bastard or the guy in the fucking armor. But thankfully,
I went past the guy in the armor over by the bathroom because Diogenes, he was waffling because he didn't want to get in between a fight between Antifa and the Juggalos because he can't stand either. So he didn't want to wind up, that was the thing. He flat out told me, he's like, look, I'm having a crisis right now. So I figured it out. I'm like, I said, okay, so let me see if I have this right. I said, you want to kick the shit out of Antifa, but you don't want to kick the shit out of Antifa because you're going to be helping the Juggalos if you do it. I said, so you're conflicted, am I right? And so he looks at me, he's like, yeah, you nailed it. I said, okay. I said, well, let's go help Burnside. How about that? He's like, okay, I can do that.
There you go.
So that's why we took a few minutes, because he was standing there for like a good 5 minutes, and I'm like, what are you doing? And he couldn't figure out what he wanted to do because he can't stand either group. So I said, okay. I said, look, I said the Juggalos are just, I said, they're dinks. I said these other people actually have purpose.
Politics.
Yeah, well, that's the thing I was telling him, because he's like, when he first found out the Juggalos were going, he's like, they're cringy dorks. I don't want to be around them. I said, yeah, but the other guy's a communist. I'd rather deal with dorks than communists.
Well, I think you should.
A Juggalo or Juggalo sympathizer, I guess you would call it, or whatever. Isn't that kind of one of her favorite groups or something?
She identifies as a Juggalo.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I basically became a poisoned Juggalo or baptized Juggalo overnight at the concert. But for Diogenes, I was basically one of those the enemy of my enemy is my friend situations, and it was a bit difficult for the poor guy because he really didn't like either or, and I really don't completely blame him for it either.
I gotta say, man,
what's the worst
best after party concert I've ever been to was for Juggalo shows, dude, back in the day.
Well, if I had to choose,
tons of liquor.
I would choose the Juggalos over Antifa.
I think I'd choose just about anybody over Antifa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with Hammer on that one. I'd choose just about anybody other than Antifa. If it was somebody or other versus Antifa, I'd pick somebody or other. And,
If it
I'm gonna
was-
go do another round real quick, so I'll be back.
Yeah. If it was a bunch of Justin Bieber fans that were meeting in Washington,
Okay, well maybe I'll go with the Beaver.
I would, it would just my loyalties would slightly edge toward the Justin Bieber fans.
I'd be singing
as opposed
sorry
to
the entire time I was beating him up.
One ton hammer,
Too
one
late
ton
to say that
12-year-old
I'm
girls
sorry.
confirmed.
But really, I think who would be worse than the Antifa? Maybe true bred in the bone Nazis would be the only other thing that I would probably go for first. Otherwise, yeah, it's Antifa the entire way.
Where I grew up, we had a recruiter for the Aryan Nation that lived in town, and every day at like after school at 3:30, he'd be down the block handing out pamphlets and shit. And this dude was a joke back in the day. Like there was some crazy like low key race shit going on here, but like most everybody was just kind of like, this is ridiculous. It's pretty much gone now. We've had like all those people left, and then Ohio banned cigarettes in bars, and everybody moved down from up there. It was crazy.
In the town that I grew up, there had been a Ku Klux Klan chapter up until I think maybe the late 1960s.
Oh, we've still got them around here. Well,
really?
I don't know if they're like official or not, but when BLM first started acting up, I've got a video for it. I'll have to dig it out. It's in one of my old cell phones. But yeah, they had a rally, and they just kind of hung out on this street corner, and it looked like it was literally like two families had full robes and everything. They ended up getting chased back to their cars because they were fucking with people.
KK's harmless.
You guys are dumb. Why would you do that? Just keep it in your backyard, you moron.
You know, the argument is always thrown around that America is a racist nation, and we're a nation that's inflicted by rape culture. But you look at this, you look at people chasing Klan members back to their cars, and you see not just the extreme anti-rape crowd, but regular, normal people, everyday people who are just sickened by the entire concept of rape. We don't live in a rape culture, and we certainly do not live in this Ku Klux Klan Nazi wonderland that
See, the problem is a lot of these people, there's this concept that eludes them. Time has elapsed between any of these instances that they're talking about. When they talk about rape culture, what they're talking about is women being treated as a commodity, along the lines of like as far back as Conan the Barbarian days. They're thinking of things of that nature where, I come in, I kill your husband, you belong to me, I take you home with me, that sort of thing. Yeah, that hasn't happened in anyone's current generational makeup. This is shit from thousands of years ago. Even as far as if you want to talk about slavery, if we're really going to go into the slavery market, slavery itself, we ended that within the past 2 centuries. It wasn't just prevalent on this continent, and basically, let's call a spade is a spade. The main reason they were going after the blacks, and they weren't specifically going after the Mandingos, was, let's face it, the women who owned the plantations were digging on the men, and the men they're notorious for loving those Mandingo women. Hell, look at half of these black porn stars that are descended from them. These women are beasts, and I mean that as a compliment. Seriously, that's some grade A meat right there. But that's my point. This is the reason that this, the slave trade in America was specifically prevalent with these people. We were going for quality. We didn't just want people who were, a demon in the field. We wanted somebody who was a demon in the sheets too. Look at our history. Hell, look at Jefferson. Why do you think so? It wasn't just because it was a popular surname. There's a lot of people named Jefferson who are descended from the man. Let's, lay all the cards out on the table. That's how it is. And this thing when they talk about rape culture, I look at them, I'm like, you know what it is? You're taking what you're cherry picking to make shit, to spin it in favor to justify you being a lunatic. I put it to him just like that. I don't sit there and mix words. No, you're a lunatic. You're trying to twist history to make you not sound crazy.
Too many people live in the past and not enough in the present.
The problem is they're trying to drag the past into the present. That's what the problem is. They're trying to alter the present completely by altering the past, and it's not going to fly.
No.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, this is the way how I've kind of viewed it recently when I actually sat down and thought about this. And I call it the return of the three extremes. I know it sounds kind of like a Star Wars cliche, but because of this cycle of people either cherry picking or trying to paint a utopia, or literally just for whatever reason picking up an asinine idea and running with it, even if it doesn't work, or basically a counterbalance type of thing happening in society with how everything's shifted so far left, and now it's shifting to the right, and people are upset about it. Basically, this drastic set of occurrences that have been allowed to occur have literally brought back the three most extreme political ideologies. The one I take into stock in, anarchism, and then the other two that are diametrically opposed to it, communism and fascism. That's why we got Antifa. It's so prevalent right now. That's why we've got BLM and the RevCom alliance that they've got with them being so prevalent. That's also why we've got Richard Spencer and his white nationalists movement and all those guys being so prevalent.
Oh shit! It's Twin. What's up, man?
They're
How you doing?
literally trying to make a big war between
that butthole tight, boy.
Politics to go and make. Oh, Irving! Hey, greetings, my Canuck buddy.
How you guys doing?
You came in just in time to hear one of my my nice good little spiels.
Well, I hate to bow out. So Irvin just got here and stuff, but I got to take off, guys. I've been brain foggy all day, so just dealing with this allergy situation here. But it was great. It was great hanging out with you guys, and we got to get Irvin on a future stream so we can properly hang out next time, man.
Yeah. It's always good to see you, Six.
Get you some rest.
Yeah, it's all good. Sylvanus had a migraine hitter. You've got your sinuses, dude. By all means, if you got to bow out, go ahead, bow out, man. I'm here till 6 in the morning.
you take it easy, guys. Good seeing everybody.
Likewise.
Just as an FYI, it is 1 o'clock in the morning.
To say that when Six actually was starting to talk himself. So gentlemen, we're at the moment. We actually have passed it by 3 minutes now. We've passed the mark. I want to just wrap it up with a couple of extra thoughts. We're going to go a few minutes over just to let you guys finish up your thoughts. That way we just don't cut the stream, raw like that. Also,
Sure.
Irv just hopped on, so if he wants to throw his hat in the ring really quick. Also, more likely than not, here, if you want to host a stream, that way after we end this, we can probably just take it over there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, awesome. Great. Because literally, Irving, you came in at the right time for the little lecture and thing I was going to go spin through. It's right up your alley. You'd fucking love it.
Burnside's about to go off.
I think I can do another hour or so.
All right, cool.
All right.
So, yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll wrap it up here, and then we'll take the after hours over with Irving Twin.
For sure.
That sounds like
All
a plan.
right. Fucking sweet.
All right, I'm just going to give my little spiel then here really quick, folks. That way you guys can all go in. Hammer will take us in after that. My name is Scooby331. Me here on this channel, obviously. This is my YouTube channel. You can follow me on minds.com, also Scooby331, Gab AI. And hopefully by next week, I'll be back on Twitter. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. That's everything with me. You can take it away, Hammer.
Thanks, Scooby. Well, let's go ahead and get down the line then. Burnside, you're next. Go ahead.
Sure. Thanks, Hammer. All right. I am the Burnside Film Project on minds.com and also on BitChute. That's all one word. Thankfully, unlike my buddy Hammer here, you shouldn't get anything too crazy if you separate that, but it's all one word. On YouTube, I am, I believe it's Frank Rizzo's The Burnside Film Project, although for all of the videos that I will be posting to make sure that everything all links together in the tags, I will have the Burnside Film Project in there. So if you type that in YouTube, you should get all the new videos. I've actually got one that should be up now or within the next few hours, which is it's a copy of the Kekistan video I put on BitChute. Because a lot of people were wanting it on YouTube, so I went and said, all right, fine, I'll go and upload it onto YouTube.
Excellent. Okay. Sweeper?
Gab, and that's about it.
I'm Sweeper Steve. Same name on Twitter, and that's where you mostly find me.
Excellent. Pox?
Mine's on YouTube, Pox Toxic. Other than that, the only thing I got is Halloween's my birthday, so at some point, I think I've got it scheduled for like 10 or something, but it might not start till like midnight. I'm gonna do a stream for however long, till everybody passes out, or my computer catches fire or something.
Nice.
I'll link to the Discord for anybody. It's basically gonna be open, just a chill stream, hang out. So
cool.
Everybody's welcome
Excellent.
to drop in and out as the one.
Irving, you've earned a spot here. Go ahead.
Hey, yeah, lucky me. I am the only Irving twin, and I'm on all that shit.
Excellent. I want to thank Irving for all of his input tonight. Really appreciate that.
Anytime.
And finally, I'm the One-Ton Hammer. All one word on Twitter and YouTube. You're good. You're good, Scooby, to end it.
Yeah, so this is probably going to be a weekly gig for me. I really did enjoy this tonight.
Okay.
We got off to a little bit of a slow start. I've noticed for some reason, whenever the serotonin starts kicking in, we all seem to get a groove on going around midnight. So I'm thinking, okay, so first half of the 120s, it seems to be like a little bit of us getting off groove on. We get, and boom, we got a rhythm going. It seems sad to end it, but we got to end it.
Yeah.
So next week, folks, same time, same channel. Hopefully we'll have nothing to talk about other than just fun stuff. So
Same time
hopefully
next week.
here's to a slow week and a fun weekend. So same time next time, guys. Whoa.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, chat.
Night.
And
Peace,
Arco
guys.
Victoria. See you around.